to ass. That is what the sports books have been doing to us over the last few days. It has not been nice. It has not been pretty. But we're going to bounce back here. We've got some best bets on the way. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Listen, we're going to turn this thing around, and I love today's card. Let's get into this. This is the free three.
I love it, Noble. Noble, I also love your YouTube videos. I watched them while I was gone. That was fire.
But getting paid because yesterday we had a full sweep. Mike going under, that was just icing on the cake. Why are we going to go in such a weak AFC South? Unless we have the NBA blowout association.
Bang! Knicks take a 1-point lead with 13 seconds.
When you hear the sirens, you know what that means.
You got barbecue back there, and you didn't invite me. Hurt my feelings.
Happy Wednesday, my friends. It is April the 9th, and it is your boy Noble Living back with another DYF Bets video where I'm breaking down my favorite picks and plays of the day as we just try to get to the bag together and make that money. The month of March was full of getting to the bag. We were going crazy. We were hitting money line parlays left and right, sweeping the board here, sweeping the board there. It was a great time. And some regression is going to be bound. It's going to be due. If you are somebody who's a sports bettor, you've been betting for a while, and you've gone through hot streaks, always know a cold streak might be falling a little bit behind it. It doesn't have to be a long cold streak. I'm not saying you have to lose everything that you made, but regression is due. Why? Because we're playing a mathematical game here, and if you look at the kind of how the chart falls, right? The reversion always falls to the mean, which means what? That if you're hitting at 70%, you're probably gonna fall back a little bit unless that is just your norm, right? So for us here on the channel, it has not been the best few days, but my goal is to turn things around, and we're gonna get back to the basics today. Yesterday, we did have a dismal 1-5 day. It was rough. We went 1-2 here on the free three. I added 2-3 more players yesterday, and that missed as well. So it was very, very much so a rough day for us yesterday. I didn't do a recap, but I can kind of go through the graphics from here yesterday. Our only hit was on this two-man parlay here with Lou Dort and Brad Pod. And the beautiful part about this one, Lou Dort had like 5 3-pointers in the first quarter, and then Pod hit his 2 3-pointers in the first half. So that was a no sweat for us, but it sucked because Anunoby shot like 4 of 50 from the field. He airballed 3-pointers. He was like 0 of 6 from deep. He got the volume. He just didn't hit the shots. He finished with 13 points, 17 and a half. That hurts. I laddered that thing up all the way up to 30 points. So I really got burned on that one. And then yesterday, the Phillies had the lead through the first 5. They had a 2-3 run lead going into the 7th, 8th inning, and then they blow the lead. That was a tough one. And then the Red Sox got in the 6th inning, scoreless game. So that one kind of hurt as well. So overall, like I said, 1-4 day here on the channel. And then the extra play that I added was with the Padres late night, and that missed as well, and that hurt. But speaking about the Padres and the A's, I got greedy yesterday in a way. Well, I don't want to say greedy. I just saw the board wrong. And I'm a big Dylan Cease fan. I've been a big fan of him from the White Sox. He was one of the first guys when I started betting baseball where he made me a lot of money. And maybe I'm a little bit biased towards him because that's why I took the Padres on the money line yesterday. They got out to a 3-4 run first inning lead, and then they blew it by the second inning. And then it was all downhill from there, and they ended up losing and blowing the parlay with the Clippers on the money line late night. But the reason why I talk about that game is because that is where I'm going to go for our first best bet of the day. And that game starts at 3:35 Eastern time between the Padres and the Athletics. And the play is not really here on the money line on either side or the run line. It's actually on the total. And if you guys know or haven't known, if we go here and we can look at something that I just tweeted out earlier this morning, that runs scored at Sutter Health Park, which is where the Oakland Athletics are playing this year. They're not even Oakland anymore. I guess this game's like the stadium's in Sacramento. It's a smaller field. And we can see here, is this the new Coors Field? I don't know, but 21 runs, 11 runs, 12 runs, 9 runs, and then 14 runs so far yesterday. I forget what the final score of that game was, but it clearly went over the total. So we're getting a very high totals. We're supposed to get decent weather today in Sacramento. It seems like the balls are flying out of this park. Again, it's giving us Coors Field vibes. And when we get high totals at Coors Field, sometimes we don't take them, but I don't think the books have necessarily adjusted yet. Today's the first day that we're getting a pretty high total, and the line has moved from about 8.5, 9.5, upwards to now that we can see it at 10. So for me, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to buy the line, and I'm going to take this 9.5 at -125. So make sure you guys shop around as well on your book. But I'm going to lay the juice. I do want the 9.5 number here, but I'm just going to take the over. It's a trend that's been hitting. Both of these pitchers, Beto and Vasquez, we can look at them real fast just to kind of get a little bit more analysis on them. They've both been decent to start the year. Beto, you can see he's 1-0 with a 2.7 ERA. I don't know why it's taking forever to load here. And then you can see in 2 starts, one was at Coors Field. He gave up 6 hits and only 2 earned runs. And then meanwhile, against the Mariners, 5 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs here. But the problem is the Rockies and the Mariners both got to him for 2 runs apiece. But guess who has a better offense than both of those teams? The Padres. And then on the flip side, Vasquez, he pitched really well in his first start, but then we saw in his second start that he struggled with his control. He even walked in a run against the Cubs, which blew our nerve in that game, I'm pretty sure. So for us, I've been watching Vasquez. He only went 4 2/3, 5 walks, 4 walks in his first start. So he struggled with his control, and that's also an alarming sign as well, which sometimes leads to some turkeys over the middle. 2 hits is not bad, but the thing is, like I said, the walks is the problem here. So for me, I think we should get high scoring regardless, even if this was not at a hitter-friendly ballpark, but I think this is a trend that we can exploit earlier on this season until the books adjust and start giving us 10.5 lines, 11.5 lines like we see at Coors Field. But I like it here. Padres Athletics over 9.5 for our first best bet of the day. For our second pick of the day, we're going to go to the NBA card, guys, and we have a loaded NBA slate. You're not going to like my NBA plays today, probably just because they're going to be cheeky, chalky, whatever. But for me, I'm just trying to find what works. And I was looking back over the last few weeks, over the last few days, what's been hitting for us, and it's been the player prop parlays. It's been the builder lays. So for today, I'm going to give you guys 2 builder lays, and then you're going to add a little bit extra to it to get to plus value. So I'm not always a fan of doing 3 legs to get to plus value, but sometimes you got to do it. But I also will give you my lean so you guys can kind of, mix and match as you will. The first one of the day is going to be the early slate. And we're going to go with 2 guys, and we're going to go Kobe White, 20 points, Austin Reeves, 20 points. So Kobe White and the Bulls are at home today against the Heat. You can see we have a very tight line, and Kobe White has been a player who's been absolutely on fire for the Bulls. We'll pull up his numbers in here in 1 second. Let me just lock him in so you guys can see. You can get this one at about minus 190, which isn't too bad. So if we pull it up real quickly, Kobe White's numbers. Let's scroll down here. We're using Doink Sports to show us what's going on here. Kobe White actually missed the Bulls last game. So if we look up, we scroll up real quick, you could see, no, that's not the Bulls. Hold on. That's Giddy. I want to see Kevin Huerter. Okay, so maybe it was April 6th was the last time they played. I wanted to say that. I thought he missed their last game. But you could see here that he had 37 points against the Hornets, 31 against the Blazers, 28 against the Raptors. He only had 7 against OKC, but that's typically what we tend to see because OKC has the defensive guards. Then 25 against the Magic, 26 against the Lakers, 27 against the Nuggets, 36 again against the Lakers, 35 against the Kings. Do I need to say anything else? He's gone over not just his 22.5 point line in 9 of the last 10 games, but that 20-point number that we want, if we zoom out a little bit, over the last 30 days, he's averaging 24.3 points. And the reason why I really like Doink Sports as well is because you get the ability to kind of adjust the line here. Let's see if I click, I think it's like right there. There you go. And we could just go down to 19.5. In the last 30 days, he's gone over 20 points in 24 of the last 30. That's an 80% hit rate. That's not too bad. Now, they're taking on the Miami Heat, which is known for their defense on guards, typically. But this is the thing about the Heat, right? They're a playoff team, but they're just not that good. And the Heat are not. It's not like they're not getting teams to play their tempo and style like we've seen in years prior. The Bulls like to play fast. They're one of the fastest paced teams in all the NBA. If we scroll up here real quickly, we can see we have a pretty high total at 227.5. That means that we're expecting points. If we go look at the team props real quick, so we can look at the team totals for both of these teams, we can see for the Heat, it's at 113.5, which is pretty high for the Heat. And then for the Bulls, that means that we're probably about 113.5 as well. They're averaging 119 over the last 30 games as well. And then if we look at defensively for the Heat, over the last 10 games, they've given up about 104. But look, they give up 121 to Milwaukee, a faster-paced team. 110 to the Grizzlies, a faster-paced team. 112 to the Hawks, a faster-paced team. 105 to the Charlotte Hornets, a faster-paced team. And these are all lower totals. 214, 224, 209, 211. These are all lower totals. So for me, when you look at it, if the Bulls are going to score points, we're going to get Kobe White. Now, for the Lakers and the Mavericks, everybody's going to be on Luka today. Makes sense. Luka playing the Mavericks, first time since he got traded, playing back in Dallas, all the emotion, all the scenes, I'm here for it. But a guy that we're sleeping on is Mr. Austin Reeves and how he's been playing. Let's scroll up real quickly here and look at some of his numbers recently for Austin Reeves. He had, in his last game out against OKC a few days ago, this does not include the game from yesterday. So I want to see real quickly here why they did not update this number. Okay, there we go. So let's go look at Austin Reeves real quickly. At his points last night, he had 24 points, right, against OKC. He had 20 the game before that against OKC. That in and of itself is impressive because of the guards that, defensively that OKC has. But before that, 30 points against the Pelicans. We're looking at this third row right here. It's not really highlighted. But we've got 30 points for the Pelicans, 31 against the Warriors, only 12 against the Rockets, 31 against the Grizzlies, 30 against the Bulls, 24 against the Pacers. And then for the Mavericks, they're not defensively one of the better teams, right? If we go to, that's why, because I was looking at the game from yesterday. Here we go. There we go. If we look at defensively for the Mavericks against shooting guards, these guys, Chris Dunn is not a comparison. We can see Dyson Daniels had 17 points, and he's not even a scoring guard like Reeves is. Keon Johnson had 24. Kobe White had 25. Mikal Bridges had 21. So there you go. Those are kind of the numbers. So if you look at it real quickly, if we put the parlay together, you're not going to get to full plus 100 value. If you want to take Austin Reeves for 20-plus points, be my guest. The only problem with that is you can get the Luka show, and then with all the bright lights, LeBron is always bound to, kind of take over and do his thing. So with these two, that gets you to minus 115. If you want to take two legs, be my guest. Let's leave it at that just because of how we've been doing so far on the channel. If you want to get to plus 100 value, what I did here is I took these two plays and then I also threw OKC in on the money line against the Suns tonight. Now, the Thunder really don't have that much left to play for, in all honesty, and the Suns don't either now that they've been eliminated from playoff contention. So the Suns might come out here today, have a free-for-all, and score some points. But I think OKC is really trying to show this season that they're the most dominant team in the league, and they're not letting any games fall through the cracks. The young guys want to play all the nights. They're playing all the minutes. So for me, that gets us a plus 131 odds, which is not bad. If you don't want to take OKC, throw in another team in there. If you want to throw the Warriors on the money line, that should damn near get you almost a plus 100. I don't trust any of these other non-playoff teams on the money line. Obviously, the Magic and Celtics, and both of these teams are playing on the Celtics second night of the back-to-back. And the Celtics won a tough game yesterday. I think they will be without Jaylen Brown. But if they the numbers say take the Magic, but anything can happen with those teams. So if you want to take just the Kobe White, Austin Reeves for the two legs, that minus 115. If you want to throw in a baseball play or another tease down leg, you got it. So that's what we're going for the second best bet. Third and final play is another builder lay. Two guys that have been making us a lot of money here on the channel, and we're gonna go with Mr. DeMar DeRozan 20+, Kawhi Leonard 20+, and these games both start at 10 p.m. So this way, the Thunder's a 10 p.m. game too. That's why I said if you don't want to include that in the lay, then don't. So you can make your money early on the Bulls right here and the Mavs right here, and then you could roll that over into these two plays here. Kawhi, 20 points. Is not asking for too much for Kawhi. If we look at the Clippers recently, last night they won against, I just want to put that in real quick, against, let's see here, Rockets at Clippers. Let's go take a look here real quickly at the game overview. And we can see that the Clippers over the last 5 games, Last night, they beat the Spurs 122-117, closer game, obviously, than the 12.5-point spread. They beat the Mavericks twice. They beat the Pelicans. They beat the Magic. They've been winning games. Meanwhile, for the Rockets, they've won 4 of their last 5. Winning on the road against the Warriors, which was a great win considering they're 5.5-point underdogs. They won against OKC, considering they were 5.5-point underdogs. Great win here against the Suns, and then obviously a tough loss on the road against Lakers. Real quickly, let's go look at the NBA standings real quickly so you guys can see why I've been taking the Kings and the Clippers so much recently. OKC, they've got the number 1 seed locked up. The Rockets, right now, they're pretty good at the number 2 seed, but if they take their foot off the gas, they might fall down a seed or 2. But you don't want to play in this 3 to 8 range. All you can see, 48 wins, 47 wins, 46 wins. So all of these guys right here are fighting for some positioning. Now, the Kings, I know it said like the Suns are eliminated from playoff contention. I think I saw that yesterday on Twitter. But if we look right here, it does not have that E by them. So they still might have a little bit to play for tonight. But the Kings, they still have something to play for, even though they're basically guaranteed to play in the play-in. They can dictate what team they want to play. The Kings might want to play the Timberwolves, which kind of match up better for them. Then they want to play the Grizzlies, right? If they fall down a seed here. So that's why we've got incentives on both of these teams. And obviously the Clippers right here, if they drop 2 games in a row, they drop down. Clippers have won 5 games in a row. Meanwhile, the Kings have won 3 games in a row. And if we look at the Kings real quickly, they won a great game against the Cavaliers on Sunday that nobody was expecting them to win. They followed that up with the win against the Pistons on the road where there were 7.5-point underdogs as well. And then they won another game against the Hornets on the road. That's not too impressive, but that's just a good bounce back after we lost on them against the Wizards here. So now they take on the Nuggets. I'm not saying they're going to win this game. They're at home. But DeMar is going to do what DeMar does. And DeMar goes out and gets buckets. If you look at the recent game logs for DeMar, let's just stats real quickly here. He's leading the team in points at 22.5 points per game. But if we look at some of his recent game logs, I don't know when was the last time he didn't score 20. 37, 28, 22, 29, 31, 21, 21, 10. Which I guarantee you is against OKC, which it is, 20, 22, 22, 27, 22, 23, 23. So you get the point. In the run that they've gone on to get to the playoffs, he's had to score points. And meanwhile, for Kawhi, he did not play last night in this game against the Spurs. So he had the night off. And this was a much more hard-fought game from the Clippers than they expected to be. Shout out to Norman Powell for dropping 25. Harden pitching with 21 and 12. So they still got it done. Zubac had another great 20-20 game. But this is Kawhi's game. Why? Because he took off last night. Yes, the Rockets defensively have the guards to be able to kind of throw at Kawhi and make things tough for him. But let's be honest, Kawhi is one of the best scorers in the league. If you look at his numbers over the last 10 games, he's averaging 26 points per game, 29, 20, 28, 21, 31, 27, 25. He's averaging 18 shot attempts per game, so the volume is there. Not only to mention, he's averaging about 6 3-point attempts per game. And then that's not also to mention that he's a guy that can get to the free throw line at a very high rate. I don't have that filter turned on here, but if I did turn it on, we would see that he's probably getting to the free throw line at least 6 to 8 times a game as well. So that's what I like with these two guys here. So DeMar, so you can see Kawhi's at minus 225. And then if we throw in DeMar real quickly here, that is going to get us to, I think DeMar is still under minus 300. And I said, as long as I'm getting minus 300 on 20 plus for DeMar, I'm going to keep taking it. That's going to get you to minus 100. Take that and run with it, okay? If you're going to be greedy, like we're going to be here on the show, what we're going to do is I'm going to do half a unit on this, okay? And then I'm going to run it back with DeMar here, and then I'm going to add Pod for 2 threes. He's shooting that thing lights out right now, over 40%. He's averaging 8 attempts. Just throw Pod in there for 2 threes. You could do DeMar. You could do Sabonis, double as well. That's another lean because he's going to have his hands full with Jokic. So you know he's going to have to go crazy on the boards. So that's another lean that you can go with. But for us, come on here. Let's go. Thank you. I just want you guys to see the odds that you can get on this real quickly. Or you could take it down to 15 points. Be my guest. But Kawhi 20, DeMar 20, Pod 3 threes gets us to plus 156. All right. So we're going to do half a unit on that and then half a unit on the other one to lock us in. So that's what we got, guys, on the free three today. And then my other extra bonus play of the day, just because it is the auto play, is going to be Denny Avia's rebounds. They got it at 7.5. I locked it in. I don't know why we keep getting under 8. I'm going to keep taking it until the wheels fall off. So that is for 1 unit as well. I'm taking Denny Avia. I'm laddering it up to 10 plus because he's gotten it every game. So I don't understand why the books haven't respected that. So that's what we're going with for today, guys. Real quickly here on today's episode of the Free Three. Over in the Padres and Athletics game, I do have the Nobu Nerfy on the TikTok as well. That will be posted in the next 20, 30 minutes. So there are some Nerfies I like. Starting at 1 o'clock, I like one at 4 o'clock. And then I also like a 7 o'clock Nerfy. Since you guys tapped into the live show, I'll give you guys that bonus one here in a second. We're going to go over 9.5 San Diego and Athletics. Then I'm going to go with the 3-way of Kobe White 20 plus, Austin Reeves 15 plus, OKC on the money line. If you don't want to take OKC in the money line, that should get you just minus 110. We're going to go Denny Avia over 7.5 rebounds. No sell job on that. Just go look at the numbers. Kawhi Leonard 20 plus, DeMar 20 plus. That damn near gets you to plus 100. And then we throw in Pod for 2 3-pointers like we did last night to get us a plus 156. You could do Lou Dort for 2 plus 3-pointers as well again, but I just didn't want to play around with that. For a quick Nerfy for you guys who've tapped into the live show, thank you guys so much. I greatly appreciate you. The Nobu Nerfy is going to be posted on TikTok. The goal is to get to Nobu, so that way we can hit a few Nerfies in a row. But a late night Nerfy that I do like around the 7:40, 7 o'clock slate is going to be in this Angels and Rays matchup right here. I do like this one between Ryan Pepio, Yutei Kikuchi. I do think that both of these offenses are a little bit slower. We can see the team totals are at 3.5. We have a low total around 8, 7.5. If I go to the first inning and if I go over under, you can see that it's not bad value at minus 120. So we can lock that in for a unit for just a quick Nerfy. But my goal is to hit the one at 1 o'clock, the one at 4 o'clock, and roll that into this one at 7 o'clock. But the 1 o'clock and 4 o'clock ones will be on the TikTok. All right, guys? Appreciate y'all for tapping in this morning again to the episode of the Free Three. We're here every weekday, but between 10 and 10:15, I normally get the stream started, depending on how the morning goes for me. I do appreciate you guys for tapping in. It's your boy, Noble Living. We need a sweep like air. And if we get a sweep, then somebody will be getting paid, all right? So make sure you guys comment on the video with your favorite plays. I appreciate it as well. Subscribe, share, and as always, dictate your fate. Get to that cheddar. And I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. Later, gang.